Can you dig it, you sucker?
Welcome inside the Hall of Fame. I'm Booker T, 6-time world champ, 2-time Hall of Famer. Got my man Brad Gilmore here with me. And as you notice, man, I brought the tank top back because I'm feeling real jacked, baby.
You're looking incredible.
I'm looking real good as of late. I put a little baby oil on before the show, so I got a little shine, a little gloss on. So I just want to let everybody know, make sure you got your shades on. Make sure you got your shades on, man, because I'm shining like the sun, man. But how you feel, dog? How you feel?
Yo, I'm doing good, Book. You know, I just spent a lot of time outside doing a little yard work. I'm actually learning from you. You're the OG of yard work. I was out there doing some potting, some planting, some things in the backyard. Yeah. And there's nothing like a good Texas sweat. You know what I mean? Like you feel like you did something.
Yeah. You feel like you might want to die.
Sometimes.
I was in the backyard yesterday doing a little work, and I got the new puppy, Rover, King Rover, and I was, just back there doing some stuff. I got these knockout roses. They were a little big, so I was bringing them down a little bit, and I look around and I didn't see my dog, and so I walk around and I realized the gate is partially open. Brother. My knees, I ain't down for. I hate running. All right, I took off in a sprint. Okay, I'm looking for this dog. I couldn't find him. I'm calling for him. I came back running around the other side, and I saw him right by the back door, and I was like, "Oh my God!" I was sweating so freaking hard because it was hot already, and then my adrenaline spike from thinking the dog had got out. And I'm like, oh my God, man, I'm gonna be in so much trouble. But found him in but definitely, man, that heat is hot out there. Man, it's hot. Seriously.
Well, you know what? The wrestling world's been hot the last couple days. Yeah,
of course,
real hot.
People want to know, man. Inquiring minds want to know what Booker T has to say about a lot of stuff, man. But I don't even know where we started, man. What should we start, man? What should we start?
I have a feeling this is going to take up a majority of the show today. So again, I want to address, by the way, shout out to the chat watching live here on YouTube. See, we got a big audience already. Hey, if this is your first time listening to the Hall of Fame or watching the Hall of Fame, we appreciate you. Go subscribe to our podcast. Make sure you support us in any way that you can. Subscribe to the YouTube channel and shout out where you are in the world. We always like to know where people are watching us in the world. And if you have a specific question for myself or the 2-time Hall of Famer about anything, explicitly about what we're about to talk about, you can super chat it in and we will answer your question on the air. But the talk of the wrestling world, Book, is after we got off the air a couple of days ago, I'm watching Monday Night Raw. They advertised there's a 6-pack challenge main event. The winner will face Bianca Belair for the Raw Women's Championship at Hell in a Cell. And then about, I don't know, maybe it's like an hour into the show, something like that, they changed the event. It went from a 6-pack challenge to a one-on-one match between Becky and Asuka. And they mentioned that Sasha Banks and Naomi, the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, they mentioned that they had left the show, left Raw. And of course, they left the building. And of course, when you hear this, you're thinking, oh, okay, so obviously they're setting some kind of angle up or whatever. Then I go to Twitter and I see everyone is on Twitter, like the Sean Ross Sapps of the world, who's a wrestling reporter. A lot of people who are kind of in the know that account Wrestle Votes. They're all saying, hey, no, guys, they actually legitimately left because they were upset about something, right? Then later on in the show, Corey Graves, promoting the main event again, says Sasha and Naomi seemingly and unprofessionally left the building today, and we're having to bring you a new match. So it turns out that they did leave. There were statements put out. There's several stories put out. I don't know where we begin here. Should we read the WWE statement of what happened?
Go right here.
Okay, so this is what WWE had to say. This is our official statement. When Sasha Banks and Naomi arrived to the arena this afternoon, they were informed of their participation in the main event of tonight's Monday Night Raw. During the broadcast, they walked into the WWE head of talent relations, John Laurinaitis' office with their suitcase in hand, placed their tag team championship belts on his desk, and walked out. They claimed they weren't respected enough as tag team champions. And even though they had 8 hours to rehearse and construct their match, They claimed they were uncomfortable in the ring with two of their opponents, even though they had matches with those individuals in the past with no consequence. Monday Night Raw is a scripted live television show whose characters are expected to perform the requirements of their contract. We regret we were unable to deliver as advertised tonight's main event. That was their statement. At this moment, we still haven't heard from Sasha or Naomi about the matter. But I guess we can start there. Book. I mean, they seemingly were creatively frustrated and decided to hightail them.
Yeah, the part that gets me is that I'm kind of grasp is not respected enough as tag team champions. I just wonder what that means. Because I'm serious. I'm serious. So here, not respected enough. I've been in tag team, form in many forms throughout my career with many different partners, and we've gone through a whole lot. Let's just say that. That's what I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying to grasp, what respect, what is that all about? But the issue is, leaving the building, packing up and getting up out of there. I've this is not my first rodeo or anything. I've seen guys get their stuff, take off, and they're in the main event, such as a guy like Sid Vicious. Sid Vicious was like a major player, though. He was like one of the top guys on the show when he did that in WCW. I've seen guys that just say, for instance, they didn't have their music. And they said, man, we ain't got our music. We ain't going out. That was the NWO. Okay. So they're like, okay, those guys had, what they clause, creative control.
Creative control, brother.
So, I get it. I've seen that before, but, and I understand being frustrated. That let's just say that right there for a second too. I understand being frustrated. I remember back when I left WWE back in 2007, 2008. Yeah, I guess it was. Yeah. I knew I was going to be leaving the company. I knew that it was, my time was up. I remember having a conversation with the company and saying, hey, man, I just can't do this anymore. I'm just in a place where I really need to take off and take some time for myself. And I'm going to work my last match, SummerSlam, with Triple H, and I'm going to go out and do the deed, and I'm going to ride off into the sunset. And they gave me the respect to and let me do that. I didn't do any jobs in between or anything like that leading up to the match with Hunter, and I did it, and I got out of there. Now I could have been frustrated and said, "Man, I'm out of here. I'm done." In the middle of a show. And that's I know one thing that would be something that I would be remembered for forever. Now I've been in situation such as being overseas in TNA, and people throwing chairs and bottles in the ring, and I got my wife and I say, let's get out of here. And we left the ring and we didn't go back to perform that night. I got a lot of heat for it, but there again, I thought I was doing the right thing by protecting myself as well as my wife. My rule, Brad. When you're 99% about something, you might want to keep your mouth shut. When you're 100% about it, you might want to just pick your bag up and take the hell off. Maybe that's what Sasha Banks and Naomi were. I was as far as saying, hey man, I'm fed up, tired of this, I'm out of here. Was it the right thing to do? Probably not. We'll find out, as far as the repercussions, if it's a work or not. But I do think it was handled, let's just say, unprofessional by walking out like that.
Yeah, I echo your sentiments as far as professionalism goes. It would be hard for me in any respect, like in any job, in any position, to walk out of something. But from what I read from some of the backstage sourcing, if you will, now accuracy is what it is. I can't verify any of it, but They said they were talking to a lot of the boys and the girls in the locker room, and some say, look, I get being upset creatively. I get walking out. I don't get walking out during the middle of the show. Now, to me, I'm on that side. Is look, we can't figure it out. We're coming to a disagreement. I need to leave. Okay, leave. But don't do it in the middle of the show where now it's not just you who's facing the repercussions of it. The entire roster, the entire production crew, the entire commentary crew, the entire writing staff, everybody is thrown into a tizzy over this.
Well, everybody thrown into a tizzy, but it's wrestling. Cars subject to change.
Yeah,
There's always, in the small print. But we got to take a break. We got to take a break. We got to take a break. We're gonna be talking about this for a long time. Stick around, guys. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute. You're worth it.
For 13 years, the King of Solar Screens has been an industry leader, and we proudly use 100% American-made products. Home of the $55 any size, any color solar screen.
Well, what about arches?
$55.
What about circles?
$55.
What about rectangles?
$55.
Any size, any color, installed free. The King of Solar Screens, on time, every time.
Now, can you dig that, sucker? Can you dig it, sucker?
Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. Talking a little sports and entertainment. What went down on Monday night's Raw program. Sasha Banks and Naomi packed their bags and hit the bricks, man. I don't know, man. My thing is there again, would I have took that approach? No. I know I've been reading a lot as well, and people saying this, that, whatnot, and the other about what's going on. But I want to hear from Sasha Banks. I want to hear from Naomi in some form. I mean, normally these young people these days, first thing happened, they want to put it on Twitter. Okay, we ain't seen nothing from Naomi and Sasha, and I think until we hear their side, it's kind of hard to really dive all the way into it. You agree with me on that?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, just because right now we're only just hearing one side of it. And my thing is this: just say for instance, if it was something just a scenario. If I was being told, "Hey man, you're gonna be losing the title tonight," and this has happened before, I swear to God, you're gonna be losing the title tonight, and I went in with a smile on my face. As soon as they told me that, I got a frown, and I'm wondering, why am I losing the title? You know what I mean? This is wrong. You know what I mean? If it's a situation like that, we got a problem. All right, because this is a sports entertainment. We all know exactly what's happening here, and everybody can't be at the top all the time. Sometimes you're going to be doing something that you don't want to do, per se. But if it's not something that's degrading, okay, to you, if it's not something that's, just say for instance, messing with your religion, okay, it's pretty much fair game because this is professional wrestling. Do you agree with me on that?
Yeah, I agree.
Because, just say, for instance, I've been a part of angles, and they say, hey, we want this done. And I go, oh, no, we're not going to do that. And they say, well, why we're not going to do that? And I go, well, this is why we're not going to do that. And I'm adamant about not doing it. I'm at that 100%. And then they go, okay, well, let's figure out how we're going to do it. Okay, but if it's the opposite and it has something to do with wrestling and entertainment, and you got upset about it because you felt like it didn't fit you, that's like going to Hollywood and telling the director, look, I don't want to say these lines, I'm gonna say it this way. And the director normally goes say, what? You say, I'm not going to do it that way, I'm doing it this way. the director is going to say, get your stuff and get out of here. And do we got anybody else cash for this role? Let's get them in here right now. I remember talking to Eric Breeden, Victor Newman from All My Children. You remember when he talked about that? You remember when he talked about telling the director, look, I don't want to, I think I could do it. The director told, no, you said exactly the way it's written. How long has this guy been on television?
50 years or something.
He learned that very, very young. So that's where I'm coming from when it comes down to a script being handed to you. That's exactly what it is, a script. Let's get this work done. So therefore, if it's anything outside those lines right there, man, I would have a problem with it. I would have a problem with if it was someone in reality of wrestling, if we went to him with an angle. And we've done that before at reality of wrestling. Okay. I had a wrestler come to my school. His name was something Spade. Okay. And he was a black guy. All right. And I say, look, bro, I can't let you go out with the name Spade. Okay. Let's just change. And the thing is, that was his real name.
Yeah.
Spade.
There's a racial connotation.
It's a racial connotation. So I say, let's change that up because, this is, people are looking at this and I need them to look at it a certain way. Now, he was totally in disagreement with me on that. He never came back and wrestled again for me after that. But I was doing that not for him, but for the show.
Right. Yeah. I mean, let me ask you this, though, because you talk about that script. And I know from stories you've told me, and I think you even talked about it in your book, like you've been handed scripts before or handed angles, right? That you didn't like and made you uncomfortable. And you spoke up about it. Okay. So let me ask you, when you speak up about it, what was normally the reaction? Was it like, hey, Booker, you need to know your place? You're just a hired gun? Or, okay, Book, I see where you're coming from. Can we come to agreement here?
Well, you got to look at it. You got to look at it like this. This is the way I did it. It's a little different than what's going on here with, I think, Naomi and Sasha. When it came to getting a script, like I said, if it was in the context of sports entertainment, whether I was winning or losing, I really never cared about that. I really didn't. That part did not bother me one bit. Like I say, if it had something, if it was coming from a personal issue, a personal perspective, if it was, like I say, if I was being degraded in a way that I didn't agree with, I'm going to speak up on it. And then, well, I know what people are going to say. People are going to go, well, what about the angle with you and Triple H when he degraded you and said, you don't deserve to be in, people like you don't deserve to be in places like this. Okay, that was the story. That's what we were trying to create and get people to feel a certain way so they could watch it. Even though I didn't win that match, I made it to the main event of WrestleMania and I stuck around for quite some time. So I think I proved this point wrong. First and foremost, winning the match I don't think was the end game, at least not for me. And I could have easily said, man, I don't agree with any of this stuff because, it's offending me. Okay. But that's what wrestling is to make people feel a certain way to get a reaction. Okay. And I understand that. It's just like when I said the N word on television, if I wouldn't have said that word in that promo, we wouldn't be talking about it ever. It would have never got posted.
Right.
Am I right here?
Yeah, I agree. So you're saying you don't mind speaking up if you feel like you're being degraded, but if they say, hey, because as of right now, because you're right, we have not heard from Naomi and Sasha, so we're having a one-sided conversation.
Yeah.
Okay? That's all we can have at this moment. When we do hear from Naomi and Sasha, if we do, we will then be able to reassess everything that we're saying here now and maybe have a little bit more clarity on the situation.
Maybe we're not going to hear what they got to say about it.
Maybe we never do. But to me, what we've heard is there was an issue because the plan was, and this is all reported, but the plan was Naomi was going to win the match and she was going to have a singles match against Bianca at Hell in a Cell, which she would go out and lose. I think that there was also something about Sasha maybe having a match with Ronda Rousey or something like that, and she was going to go out there and lose. Okay. And maybe there was some problem with that. Now, I will say, as a wrestling fan and historian of some kind, I can recall, and you can tell me if I'm wrong about this, Booker, because maybe you remember, there were times where to make the world champion look stronger, what would he do? He would beat both of the tag team champions up in singles matches, right?
Yeah.
They don't always do that, but I remember angles where they would feed you the tag team champions. And it's like, oh man, look how great the world champion is. He is able to beat, these two individual champions, right? And so I know that's happened before. I don't know if that was WWE's intention of like, let's make Bianca and Ronda look stronger by beating the tag team champions or not. But that seems to be kind of what the thought process was.
Let me just say this, okay? I'm just saying if this is the scenario to where Sasha felt like it was disrespect for her to get beat being a tag team champion, as well as Naomi getting beat, being disrespected as tag team champion. If that's the problem, we got a huge problem here. Okay. Oh, and that's why I say it's hard for me to speculate. It's hard for me to, really talk about what really happened because we only heard it from one side. If that was the scenario, if that was the case, damn man, the business is definitely gone to a place, just say to the toilet. we can't say certain words here, but excuse me.
I said it is a radio show. We can't say everything.
But if that's the case, putting somebody over, getting somebody over, not getting somebody over, we got a problem. And I'm just saying, that's why I say, let's sit back and not speculate too far as far as what really happened until we hear from Naomi, Sasha. And the thing is, if we don't hear from them, then we could just make up whatever the hell we want to make up.
Well, I know we have to go to break here in about 10 seconds, but I do want to, on the other side of the break, Naomi's former tag team partner, Cameron, what she was on WWE TV, Ariane Andrew, she spoke up on this and she had some interesting comments I want to read about. So we'll do that after the break.
Stick around, y'all. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute. Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, y'all. I'm Booker T, 6-time world champ, along with my man Brad Gilmore. That's my late night voice right there, man. That's my late night, quiet storm voice right there. So guys, just ride along with me. Cool selling, man. Cool breeze, if you know what I'm saying. But yeah, man, what was it that Cameron had to say?
Well, yeah. We're talking about the situation with Naomi and Sasha walking out of Monday Night Raw. Very controversial. A remnant of Stone Cold Steve Austin taking his ball and going home, or CM Punk not wrestling for 7 years after his walk out of WWE. We'll see what happens and transpires. Again, we have your super chats to get to, which we will answer here at the end probably of this segment. But Ariane Andrew, the former Cameron, the former Funkadactyl, the former tag team partner of Naomi, did an interview with SEScoops.com. Had some interesting quotes that I wanted to pull, so let's read a couple of them right now. When asked about this situation, she said this: What happened, I think, is I'm just going to remove Sasha from it because Sasha's done this before. Sasha's a great athlete. Let me not get this twisted because I don't want fans coming after me. She's definitely deserved, like, she's a great wrestler. She's a great character. She does what she has to do. My girl Naomi, though, she wouldn't do this, and I feel like she wouldn't do this unless she had somebody manipulating her and telling her how to do this. Let's best believe if I was here coming as a Funkadactyl, we wouldn't have this happening at all. She goes on to say, again, Sasha is Sasha. You have Snoop Dogg as your cousin. You're a top athlete. You can do whatever the F you want to do. You can literally say, do what you want to do with no repercussion. And if you're a star athlete, I feel like she can back it up. The only thing she can do is back it up. It's not like, can have all these people who back her up without having talent or beauty or whatever. She's a effing top effing B. She can effing back it up in the ring. But if you have the top agent, you have a top celebrity backing you up, 1,000%, you're going to have the extra boost. But someone like Naomi, where's your extra boost? Now, of course, I think what Cameron was trying to say was, hey, Sasha's got other opportunities.
No, I think what she was saying is Naomi is not Sasha.
Yes.
That's exactly what she was saying. So don't think that you can go and roll in the same circles as she can. It just doesn't work that way. That's what I've been talking about this for the longest. And people don't get it when I talk about it. They think I'm just messing around. This buddy system, these friends, followers. You know what I mean? I'm gonna tell you right now, man. It's no way you can really focus on what you really need to be focusing on if that's where your head is. Well, if my friend do this, I'm going to do it. If my friend walk, I'm going to. I don't know. I think, I look back at my career, when I was first coming in. I remember my brother and we was working for this guy. And the guy didn't want my brother to work on the show. And well, I was like, man, well, my brother ain't working on the show, man. I ain't working on it either, right? So I remember I got so mad at this guy, man. I mean, because first of all, he's a white guy, and I thought he was being racist, but he really wasn't. He told me, well, one monkey don't stop no show. I want to get him, and I'm serious. And then I realized, damn it, that's true. The show just kept on rolling on without me. I'm my brother, and I wonder if I was in WCW and that same thing happened, and I had a major contract on the line here, and my brother had beef with somebody, and he said, "Man, I'm walking. I'm out of here." And I go, well, my brother walking, I'm walking too. I wonder what would I have done then?
Yeah. It is an interesting thing. Like, if Naomi, though, felt...
We wasn't making no money. Well, we wasn't making no money the first time.
Right.
we
Then there's money on the line.
We making $25 to $50. Okay.
It's really easy to walk away from $25.
WCW, it was six figures, medium, six figures, okay, at that time.
Yeah, so. I mean, obviously, look, it's tough. It's tough without knowing all the details. Like you said, it's tough to speculate on exactly what happened. I think my only issue is if they really did leave in the middle of the show, that's the only thing I have an issue with. Honestly, like, I don't really have as much of an issue of them leaving. We've seen stars leave.
No, I don't. No, I don't.
I think leaving in the middle of the show, it's just hard because I heard Jimmy Smith gave an interview and he's like, "What we're doing the opening on cam and we're promoting the main event, which is the 6-pack challenge." And he said, by the time the on cam's over, we're coming in our ear saying, "Hey guys, no, that's not going to go on. We're going to have to change stuff." And, he didn't know what was going on. Nobody knew. Right. And I just think that, again, like, if I can adapt it to reality of wrestling, say we had a planned main event and I'm out there on the commentary desk. I'm not in the back, right? I don't know what's going on, right? Something happens in the back where our main event falls apart. I'm sitting out there. Now, all of a sudden, I've prepared all this stuff. I know it's card subject to change. I know anything can happen, but I just feel like it's a disservice to everybody else. That's my only thing, really.
Yeah. My thing is, like I say, if the scenario is the way I talked about a minute ago, my thing is, if I'm going to quit, I would have went out and did the job and then quit. Just
Yeah.
so I would have had a reason to. All right. I mean, it's like being in a fight. I'm not going to throw the first punch. I'm gonna let you throw the first punch. That way, if I defend myself and something happened bad, we go to court. That was self-defense. So doing it this way literally put yourself in the line of fire. Everybody's looking at you now because you're the one that walked out. But like I say, it's gonna be a lot of people go, well, like I've been seeing in comments, certain people gotta, do what they gotta do to get their respect.
Yeah.
Okay. Like I say, this business is not like working at 7-Eleven or working in the corporate world or anything like that. It's a moving show. It's a moving show, and it has a lot of moving parts. Storylines are being created. Storylines are changing on a moment's notice. Stars are being created. Some stars, actually start dropping because of certain things, because of perhaps they're not doing certain things for that star. It's a lot going on there, and that's why I always say, man, that's why I always have said, as far as this getting over thing, Sasha's over. Okay.
Yeah.
Sasha's gotten herself over. You know why?
Why is that?
Because she's talented. Okay. And I don't know if you remember, man. I don't know if you remember me saying this or not, but I said this for many, many years because I learned from it. I literally did. Guys like Scott Hall, guys like Kevin Nash, rest Scott Hall's soul. Let me put that in there. But those guys were shot callers. Okay. Because they were talent. Okay, seriously. That's why they were in position, because they were going to sell some tickets. And I say, when you're talent, you can speak up every single time, because you're talent. You can go somewhere else and work, and somebody else is going to hire you at a moment's notice when you're talent. So that's the one and only real thing that you can bank on, is your talent. And I look at, Sasha and Naomi from a talent perspective, and you go, I look at them totally different as far as individuals that I'm gonna put on the marquee, that I'm gonna highlight, even though Naomi has been in that position. She's had the title, but I still don't. I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't think people look at Naomi the same way as they look at Sasha Banks in the ring.
I agree.
As a performer,
As a wrestler, yeah.
as a wrestler, as a performer, making you go, wow. When she goes out with Sasha, went out and did that double knee thing off the stage one day, and there was no pad on the floor when she did, and I go, good God. I mean, and it blew my mind. So she's definitely a high caliber athlete that cannot be denied. You just cannot do that. So I say, there again, you can't look at those two and put them in the same box at all. Not just because they're a tag team, because the only reason they're a tag team is because we made them a tag team.
Right.
Okay, this is the storyline. It's not like you guys want a Rock and Roll Express. Come on, am I wrong here?
No, I mean, I think Naomi even said as much, like leading into WrestleMania. She was like, hey, man, I know Sasha could be doing pretty much anything on the card. I'm just happy that she's with me. They put her together with me. So, yeah, it wasn't a.
Look here, that's like when I got with a tag team partner. They all got gold around their waist. So, in essence, I ain't patting myself on the back of that, but that's talent. Hey guys, you're in the Hall of Fame. Stick around. We'll be back in a minute.
A little bit, but I think the match that everyone kind of saw me at my, I got the right exposure, I guess, is when I faced Ricochet in Japan for the Best of Super Juniors. And I think a lot of people saw that match and was like, all right, well, this is what Will does. He's a flippy guy. But I saw the constructive criticism that everyone would say, and I would go, hang on, no, they've got a point. They have got a point. We could have done some stuff different. We could have done this, that, and that different. And then I got in the ring with a guy called Shibata. And in New Japan, like, he was like top, like, do you know what I mean? He's like he was one of the new generation Three Musketeers. And I would be like, yeah, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do that. And he looked me dead in the eyes. Like, he just looks at me, he goes, no. Oh, mate, I am so scared. And he didn't, honestly, he didn't tell me a single thing of what we were going to do until I got in the ring.
Yeah.
And I was so scared.
Can you dig it, sucker?
Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. Just chatting it up, man. The story is getting outrageous, man. It's going nuts.
Well,
but we got to talk about it.
We got to talk more about it. And here's the thing. A lot of our listeners right now have much that they want to say about it.
Let's talk about it.
Before we get to our super chats, I'm literally going to get to them in 1 minute. I just want to say this. And maybe I'm wrong. I don't feel like WWE has fully capitalized, and this is just my opinion, fully capitalized on the star power of Sasha Banks post Star Wars, right?
Yeah.
Post Star Wars, Sasha was already high up on the card.
Yeah.
As far as even like a casual fan knowing who Sasha Banks is, high up on the card, right? But after Mandalorian, like, you've entered into Star Wars, Disney mainstream stardom. That's a different level.
Yeah.
You know, it's a little bit hotter. And to me, if I had that star on the card, I would probably present her a little bit different. Like, she wouldn't be in the Royal Rumble for 5 minutes. You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna get my time out of her. And if she's hot, man, brother, we're gonna shoot her to the moon. And that's just my opinion. And honestly, maybe WWE was like, hey, we're gonna put her in this tag title match so that we can use her star power to elevate everybody around her. And that could have been the idea. And if that is the idea, then kudos WWE. That's smart, right? But I just feel with Sasha coming off of Mandalorian, and then they have another season of that coming out, she'd be on television all the time. She wouldn't miss a pay-per-view. She wouldn't miss a pay-per-view.
Look here, I can't disagree with you on that. I mean, I really can't. And that's the thing right there too. Could that be part of it? You know, her being upset, not being, looked at like, a major superstar, like perhaps she wants to be looked at. And sometimes, man, the squeaky wheel is the one that get oiled. Mm-hmm. That's just the way it is, man. I mean, it's a saying on the street: closed mouths don't get fed. I mean, I'm dead serious here. And I'm not saying what she did, or walking out or anything was right or anything like that. But I do know speaking up and voicing your opinion is something that I always did. I was always the one to speak up and say something. But there again, you got to have tact in certain aspects too. You got to know how to, there again, 99%, man, there is still 1% on this. Let me think about this for a second before I say anything. But then I'll always say again that 100%, when I'm 100%, I'm willing to get fired. I'm looking to get fired. I know it's going to happen, perhaps, but then there may be some rational thinking, and somebody might go, well, damn it, maybe he's got a point. Maybe he was upset for a reason. And then they go, everything's cool. You feel me?
Yeah.
But I tell you what, if I just walk out, none of that, nobody's gonna know exactly what happened other than I walked out. And I say this from some of my personal experiences in the WWE. And I'm gonna tell one story, and I'm not gonna I don't want to reveal any names or anything like that. But I remember one time I was so mad because of something that was said to me about my wife. I was so mad. I went off to the point to where everybody could hear me, going off. And I'm sure no one ever said anything to me about it, but I'm sure somebody said, "Man, what the hell happened here?" Afterwards, man, what was Book upset about? And somebody probably told them, and somebody probably said, "What the hell were they thinking?" No one ever said anything about that incident. It was because I was 100% right about doing it, and I didn't care if I got fired that day or not. So I don't, like I say, look at this situation with Sasha and Naomi. Other than it was handled, I think, totally the wrong way as far as packing the bag and leaving. And the reason I say that, again, let me give you another incident. I remember I was the U.S. champ, I think, in the WWE. And I had hurt my back in Australia. Okay. And it was in a match. I don't even know how I hurt it. I woke up the next day and I could not stand up straight. I couldn't even get up to the table to eat my food. That's how bad I was. I still had 3 more shows in Australia to get through. And I did not know how I was going to do it. They put me in tag matches and I ended up getting through the tour. Okay. I got through that tour. I worked that whole damn tour. My back was hurting like hell, man. I swear I don't know how I got through it. But I remember we came back and we came through California and we had a layover there and we was on our way to Canada. Okay. And I remember this vividly and I don't remember a whole lot of stuff. And I called someone and I told them, "Look, man, my back is hurt, man. It's hurt bad. And I need to get some medical attention like right now." And the person that I was talking to, he wasn't a worker. He wasn't someone who had been in the trenches or anything like that. Or he did not have enough sympathy or empathy for me to say, "Hey, Book, let's get that done." He's thinking about his job. Okay. Like I said, I can't even remember who the guy was. But I'm serious. He goes, "Well, I tell you what, Book, we'll just get you to Canada, and all you got to do is just do some promos, and then we'll get you." And I go, "Look, you don't understand. I'm in major pain here. I could barely walk through, the checkpoints and whatnot at the airport." I remember taking the title and I gave it to the referee. I said, "Hey, man, here, take this title." Excuse me. I said, "You give it to whoever you got to give it to. But damn it, I'm going home and I'm going to see a doctor right now." Finally, somebody realized how serious my pain was, whatnot. They called somebody, boom, they sent me home. I ended up going to the doctor. I had a herniated disc. I had to have 2 epidurals to get myself back up and running. I was in my bed for a month straight. I couldn't even walk from my bedroom to the kitchen. That's how bad I was. But I'm sure the person that I was talking to on the phone didn't realize the severity of my situation. But I didn't do that when I was in Australia and say, "Hey, man, I'm going home." I knew I was on a tour, and it was my obligation to try to finish this tour the best way I possibly can. And once I finished that tour, I say, "Man, I got to go get some help." And then if they didn't want to give it to me, I was willing to take the consequences and get fired because I was going home that day. I think that was the right way to handle that situation.
Yeah. Right. And look, and that's actually a really good thing to illustrate that everything is situational. Now, if somebody would have just said, "Hey, Booker just said he's not getting on a plane because he doesn't want to come to Canada to do the promos." If that was the story that was out there, all of a sudden you look really bad, right? But when we're able to hear both sides of it, maybe we can understand a little bit more.
Exactly.
And I think that there's a lot more here that we don't understand and maybe never will, because I remember when Sasha, like Ariane said in her interview, Sasha did something like this similar before, right? Where she kind of left for a little while, not leaving during the show, but taking a hiatus is what I mean. she kind of left and collected herself. There was even reports that she came out that she asked for her release and it was denied. Remember, we talked about that a few months ago.
Yeah.
And so there's obviously more to the story that we don't know. And all we can do is speculate. But
you know why it's a whole lot more to the story than we know that we know right now is because the night that incident happened, what were we at in Austria? I can't remember what the hell we were in that TNA show. The only thing that people wrote was Booker T left the show left the match in the middle of the match and never came back and wrestled. No one never wrote about what actually happened. And if I didn't tell you that the fans had bottles throwing them in the ring, if I didn't tell you that they had zero security around the ring, not even black shirts security, where they were just wrestlers acting like security. If I didn't tell you this, you would never know it. And literally, I'm talking about beer bottles. And I'm the only, no joking, man, but I'm like the only black man in the country. What do you expect for me to do? Okay, I got my butt up and I got the hell out of there. But the story is not going to be written that way. So we need to hear from Sasha. We need to hear from Naomi in order to actually pontificate on this situation the way we really should. Well, I know we got to take a break, man. We got to take a break. Stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute.
Indies for a couple of years, and for me, I could not take that experience back for anything. I mean, learning how to wrestle in front of 6 people and trying to draw emotion out of people who maybe just by happenstance came across the show, but to work with conditions where the ropes some are too tight, some are too loose, some of the rings had big dips in it, trying not to trip over the canvas, and just having that experience of working in all these different, every ring was different at every indie show that I did, and so to know that I have to put on a good show regardless of the circumstances, even if the ring doesn't show up and I have to wrestle on a gymnasium floor, hoping for the best, it really helped shape my ability to be able to think on the fly and made me who I am today.
What's up, this Booker T, 2-time Hall of Famer. I know you're checking out the Shine, checking out the Gloss. I want to thank you guys for checking out Row on YouTube. Hey, don't forget to click and subscribe to check out all the latest content right here each and every week. Now, can you dig that, sucker? Can you dig it, sucker?
You're listening to the Hall of Fame. Here's Booker T and Brad Gilmore.
Welcome inside the Hall of Fame. I'm Booker T, 6-time world champ, 2-time Hall of Famer, representing ESPN 975-925 with my man Brad Gilmore, as always, the boat. And hey man, it's everything's everything out here today. Everything is everything, and you know what? We don't want to waste a whole lot of time today. We don't want to waste a whole lot of time with pleasantries or anything like that. Like I said, man, we got to get right down to it.
We do. And for those of you who haven't been listening along with us the last day or so, of course, we're talking about the story of pro wrestling that everybody has been talking about since Monday when it happened. Monday Night Raw, Sasha Banks, Naomi took a leave of absence during the middle of the show. Hiatus. Yeah. They hightailed it on out of there during the middle of the show on Monday night. We still have yet to hear from Sasha and Naomi, so we're really only going off online reports and what WWE statements said and things of that nature. Now, Booker, we have a slew of super chats regarding this matter. So we're going to start with Aaron C. Aaron C. who says, okay, now could this have been a straight shoot? It does seem that way, Aaron, right? It seems like it's for real.
For me, I don't see what the payoff is, for just creating drama like this. So I don't see this being a work. I don't see this being an angle or anything like that. It doesn't feel like one anyway. And there again, if it's a shoot, man, we need to. What I tell you what, if it's an angle, we need to make all of them like this.
Right.
I'm serious.
There's a hot angle.
I'm serious. It's a hot angle. I mean, it's all over the internet. Everybody is talking about it. If we're gonna be shooting angles like this, that's gonna get this much press on the social media sites outside of a wrestling match, man, we better start doing it on a regular. I mean, seriously, am I right or what?
But which also leads me to believe, though, this is definitely not a work. I'm like you, I don't see a payoff. But Michael Polston says, didn't Eddie Guerrero do something similar to this and it was a work? I don't remember that.
I don't remember Eddie doing anything like this, and it was a work or anything like that. I don't remember Eddie. And I'm gonna tell you right now, in an angle with Eddie Guerrero leaving the building before a match, being a singles wrestler, that I would be more inclined to think that was an angle. You know, this involves two people. Okay, two people thinking the same way at the same time. You know, that right there is somebody collaborate and saying, look, man, what do you think? Well, what do you think? This is what I think. I don't know. I would be more inclined to think what happened with Eddie, if it did happen, had to be a work, because Eddie's never had a problem going out and performing in the ring ever that I can remember. Not one time.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I could be wrong on that, but I do not remember Eddie having a spirited moment to where he was pissed off enough to where he said, man, I'm out of here. Now I have seen Eddie outside of work and say, man, I'm pissed about this, or I'm pissed about that. And that's normal. We do that all the time. You know what I mean? I know I've done it several times.
Right.
You know what I mean? I can't tell you how many times I've said, man, I ain't digging the way this direction is going. You know what I mean? I'm not liking this. You know what I mean? I can't tell you how many times I've said that, but it's not like, I'm going to lead a company because of something like that.
Right. You're not going anywhere.
Ain't going nowhere. Check's still going to be there. But I'm going to talk crap.
Right.
I don't care what job I'll be talking crap. I'm serious, man. If I was, working at fast food, man, flipping these burgers, man, when you gonna put me on the register? I'm serious, man. You always got something you can complain about.
Right. I mean, so I don't recall that with Eddie Guerrero, but here's our next one. This is from, let me make sure this is the next one here. Yeah, this is from Aaron C. Aaron C., who again chimes in and says, if I was being paid to perform a certain night, I would just get up and leave no matter how heated I was. Got to grab that money bag. Yeah, I'm kind of in agreement with him. Like, it's hard for me to leave during the show.
I think you meant wouldn't, right there.
Right, yeah, wouldn't.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you, man, if I'm paid, I can't say this enough, but like if you're in Hollywood and you get a script, you paid for that script. All right, you're going to get your points, royalties, whatnot. But your royalties is not going to be more than the leading man, the co-star. You just had a role, and that was your role, and that's what I don't get about the game today. Just like my man Aaron C. just said right there. When I hear people talk about having fun, okay, when I hear people talk about, they're not, having a great time right now, doing this, it might be a case where you want to get out of it, get out. But it's about making money in this business at the end of the day. It's about getting a paycheck, and not just, getting a paycheck, but parlaying your talent to a point to where you're on the show, to where when it is contract negotiation time, boom, you get a bump. Or even, what are we thinking here? I'm thinking about trying to make as much money as I possibly can. And when I hear people talk about the title, wanting to be the champion, I could be, I don't know, looking at this from a naive perspective or anything like that. But I did not get into the business for the title. Okay. I got into the business because I knew it was a way to get out of the neighborhood, make some money. And then I realized if you're really, really good at it, man, the better you are, the more money you're going to make. And then, wait a minute, if you're really, really good at it, they want to put the title on you. I've had 35 put around my waist over my career, 35 championships.
Not a couple,
Okay.
definitely a couple.
No, it was because I was talent. They knew they could bank on me when I had the championship around my waist. Bottom line, and therefore I knew I was going to get paid. When it was time, to negotiate in WCW, I didn't really have to talk too much. They was like, "Hey, we want to pay you this much, just to keep you here. You ain't got to do. Just don't go to WWE. Just stay here. We'll pay you this money. Everything will be good." I go, "All right, that's cool.
Sounds good to me."
You know what? I'm serious. But trust me, rest assured, 100%. If I wasn't talent, if I was just one of the guys, you think they would have offered me that money?
No.
You think you and I be having this conversation?
Yeah. You wouldn't be in the Hall of Fame. You wouldn't. Yeah, none of that.
No, I'm serious. I'm dead serious.
Yeah.
So when I hear people talk about that, man, I'm like, let's change your thought process because you're definitely not thinking, on the right lines.
This comes from Super Red Space Couch, who said, "I love the Sherry Martel Classic. Great ending." Yeah, by the way, the full show is available on the Reality Wrestling YouTube channel if you want to watch the Sherry Martel Classic.
You know what? We wrote that.
Yeah.
It was a great ending. Evil Booker, the man who just totally has lost it, creating something that made you feel a certain way when you watched it, because you had to be upset. You had to be mad about it. Or you was like, "Oh man, this is really cool or entertaining," or something like that. But more importantly than anything, it made you feel a certain way, because when I watched it, good God, man, I laughed so hard. And my girl Promise Braxton, I was talking to her at the school last week, and I was telling her how great of a job she did. She goes, "Booker, I just want to let you know, after that match, I think I now realize what wrestling is all about."
Wow.
After that match, she said, "It's not about winning." She said the most I got out of that was, me crying. And she said, I can't remember who it was, but she said someone told her, "Just keep that look right there, because that's gold." And she was just crying like me when Steve Austin beat me up, And I was like, wow, man. I lost my train of thought thinking about that.
But Sherry Martel was great.
It was great, man. It was great.
I'll go check it out. I think, look, we'll take one more before we go to break.
No, go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. Michael Polston says WWE has made it clear that none of their talent will be bigger than the brand. Maybe they can feel they can grow in another industry. They being, I'm sure, Sasha and Naomi.
You know what? I disagree with that, man. I really disagree with that concept right there, that thought. Just because I think if you come to the WWE and you're talent, they're gonna push you. They're gonna, but and the thing is, I'm not just talking about coming to the WWE and just being one of the regular. I got about 30 seconds. I'm gonna take a break here. I'm not just talking about being a guy that could come out on the show and go out and do spots. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the star that the WWE is looking for. I'm gonna tell you, they come few and far between. They're not like a dime a dozen guys that just walk in the door and know how to go out there and come. I'm gonna tell you, we're gonna come back after the break here, but you answer this question right here. And he was one of my biggest competitors. Do you think there's a star out there right now that's bigger than The Rock when he came into business? Just think on that for a second. We got to take a break. We'll be back in a minute.
Everything all right?
Everything's fine. It couldn't be better, actually. Gaspar. Reality of wrestling is growing. And growing very quickly, if I may add. We have the big showdown. Don't mess with Texas event coming up in Dallas. It couldn't be better. But there is one little problem that we may have to fix. Ed Stone, who has the audacity to want to buck the system. He's one of Charmel's favorite. He think he has protection. Well, show him how you get protected. Come in. Promise. Have a seat.
Don't mind if I do.
I have high hopes for you, Promise. You're going places. You're going to be a big star. You already are. And we have the huge event coming up. The Sherry Martel Classic. This event was made for you. You are the chosen one. You must represent reality of wrestling like no one else can. I need you to do this for me. Can you do this, Promise?
There's a quote you said in 1997. In order to kick some ass, you gotta bring some.
I like that. Thank you, Promise. See you at the classic. Now, we get down to business.
Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. Another classic. Coming to you from ESPN 975-925. Hey, you know what? I posed a question there. Is there a star bigger than The Rock today? Is there a star bigger than Stone Cold Steve Austin out there today?
No, I don't think so. But it's also
wait a minute. Is there a star bigger than The Undertaker?
No.
Out there. Just say, for instance, is there a star out there today bigger than Mick Foley?
No, but I think
what I'm trying to say here is what I'm not trying to do anything other than talk about that it should be. Am I right here or not?
Sure.
And those guys were threats with characters and gimmicks, whatever. But they went out and played those roles and made those those fans feel a certain way in order for those fans to gravitate to those characters to still to this day feel a certain way about them. Point in case, we're talking about Ric Flair having his last match. I saw people giving me all kind of flack about me saying fans, are going to want to come and see this thing. And the reason I say that because 2016, you and I, we went to see Horace Gracie and Ken Shamrock. Both of these guys were over 50 years old. They were in the main event in the Toyota Center. Damn it, they had 14,000, almost 15,000 people in there to watch this. Okay, now the Horace Gracie and Ken Shamrock, their first fight was in 1993. Okay, 2016, 1993. You think we were going to see the same fighter? Did we expect to see the same fighter? Look here, Horace Gracie looked like Gandhi. The fight lasted for about a minute and it was over with. Okay. But were we excited that night?
Hell yeah.
We had like the most fun we've ever had that night.
So great.
I mean, the euphoria was like, what was it? It was freaking electric. It was freaking pandemonium. So when people talk to me about stuff like this, as far as, making guys feel a certain way, Ric Flair made you feel a certain way. That's why people are going to come and see him. Everybody is not 20 years old, perhaps, that's going to be at that show. It might be a bunch of old heads. But I bet you if the Eagles come to town, or Steely Dan, who probably had their first hit back in the 70s, I bet you'd be sold out.
Hell yeah.
I bet you'd be sold out. So when people talk like that, they don't know what the hell they talking about. You're going to be old one day. It's someone that you liked going to come to town, and damn it, you're going to go see them. Just for nostalgic purposes to make you feel a certain way about how you felt back then. It's that simple. But people are so naive to think everything runs through Twitter today. And if it's not happening right now in the moment, no one really cares about it. That's not true. Those characters back in the day, those Roddy Pipers, those Macho Man Savages, those British Bull, those Ultimate Warriors, damn it, they became stars because they went out there and worked a certain way. And that's the bottom line. Now you can rebut me on what you was going to say, Brad.
Well, I wasn't going to really so much rebut anything that you're saying. There should be stars at that big, but I will say it's a different time, right? I mean, the business isn't as hot as it was back then. And I mean, when you were on top and Stone Cold and Taker and Triple H and all those guys, I mean, there's not 8 million people watching every Monday night.
Should that change the fact that certain stars should rise up if their talent?
Well, no, but it changes how we view them, right? Like Austin and Rock were bigger than life because they had a bigger than life audience at the time, right? I mean, I just think that's a contributing factor. Because honestly, if 8 million people are watching every Monday night still, and I know TV's different, and you're never going to get no one gets $8 million viewers anymore, unless it's the Super Bowl or a big basketball game or baseball game. But if 8 million people were watching every Monday night, yeah, you'd have a lot more mainstream rock level guys. I think like Roman would be right up there. I think Sasha would be in that conversation.
Yeah,
as a mega star in the world.
You know what? Today, right now, I agree.
Yeah,
100%. Because they're talent.
Super talent.
For no other reason. For no other reason. It's because they're talent. You know what I mean? It's not, this is not even something that I would be one to say just because of, the way he made me feel just last week. But CM Punk is too.
Yeah.
He's talent. You know what I mean? And the thing is, CM Punk, for what, look at it however you want. CM Punk made you feel a certain way by the way he went out and performed in the ring. He made fans feel a certain way about CM Punk because he had that never freaking say die mentality. And the thing is, was CM Punk the best wrestler? In my opinion, no. But damn it, he believed it. And he made you believe it. Guys like freaking Jim Jones and the David Koresh's of the world, their talent is to make you believe in them. Are they better than everybody else as far as, what they're talking about? Are they talking about anything different? No. But they make you feel that they are different than anybody that you have ever heard it from. And that's what wrestlers do. And I take nothing away from the talent that's out there today. But in order to be, that mega star that, we're looking for, it's not going to be anything that these guys do in the ring at all. And
Right.
we're missing a lot of that. And the thing is, go back and look at The Rock's career. Go back and look at it. Okay? Because at one point the fans were going, Rocky sucks, and they were serious. It was like
Die, Rocky, die.
Die, Rocky. Yeah, exactly. And it was real. And you go back and watch Rocky's character when they were saying that. They could see right through The Rock at that point in time. They could see he was fake and phony as he could possibly be. And then when they flipped the script on that dude, he took that character and he ran with it, and he became freaking what The Rock is today. So I just look at it from those perspectives, man. I've been in the position myself when I got the ball, was I going to run with it or not? My wrestling was, I was okay as a wrestler, but I had to figure out how to be an entertainer. All right. I knew how to make the fans feel a certain way. That was something that was always on my radar, making the fans feel, because I always felt like, man, it's like kissing your first girlfriend in a certain song was on, and now you're 50 and that song come on, and what do you think about it? Yeah. It's just that, because you felt a certain way about it. You know what I mean? So I've always looked at wrestling to try to make people feel that way, opposed to looking at me just go out there and wrestle. I want to take a bump a certain way in the ring, turn me inside out, and then the fans go, oh, man. They felt a certain way about that right there. I had to give them that moment. Cody stole it a couple of weeks ago, but he did it on the outside of the ring. And I go, okay, he's up the ante a little bit. You know what I mean? But every time they show that, when Cody does it, I go, that's a hell of a bump right there. It made me feel a certain way. And I'm sure the fans felt a certain. That's why they keep playing it. So that's why Cody is a star right now.
Yeah, I put Cody on that list.
Now, come on. You look at Cody and you look at a lot of guys that's been there and been doing the same thing that Cody's doing. But when you look at Cody, you go, shit, damn it, this guy look like a star, man. He looks a little different than the rest of these guys.
Yes.
You know what I mean? He walks the walk, he talks the talk. He's got the dress, and then he comes out in these outfits, and then he goes out and perform like a wrestler. And he doesn't do anything spectacular in the ring, but everything he does it with execution, try to make sure he does it well, try to have good timing. And then try to create a good story at the same time. That's what wrestlers do.
Let's take another couple super chats, because we only have one more segment after this, so we got to speed through these. Gianni Versace says, Booker T is a true professional, always showed up, never turned down a fight except only once, and that was against the almighty Vito.
Big Vito. Yeah, I remember that. I wasn't wrestling Vito, man. I just wasn't going to do it. You know what I mean? He was the scum. He was scum of the earth. Discover the earth, and definitely glad I didn't go down that route. But keep it going, man. We got
Vito with the dress. I'm trying to get to the next one. We have a slew here. Here we go. This is from Cali Toenail. Was checking out your AEW A&E bio. Excuse me. I was wondering what kind of impact Bonita's words had on you when she said, "Focus on your goals because you have to wake up from your dreams." I'll be saying that forever.
Yeah, man. Being locked up, man. That's the only person I really communicated with. When I was locked up, and I used to write Bonita these letters, and no one really knew how good my penmanship was until I wrote these letters. And then when I was watching the biography and I looked at those letters, I go, damn, I got good penmanship. But my sister, she was there with me, man, in the trenches, and I knew where I was. I knew I had to I knew I had to fix that. And just having someone like her in my corner, even still to this day, it meant the world. It meant the world, and it definitely, put a fire under me to, man, get out of here and do something, become great, and I did that. Hey guys, we're in the Hall of Fame. Stick around. We'll be back in a minute. You worth it.
Walker Texas Ranger handles the bad guys with a roundhouse kick. I'm Jim Walker, Walker Texas lawyer. I handle the insurance companies with a roundhouse kick to the wallet. If you've been injured in a car, truck, or motorcycle accident, give me a call at 713-552-1117 or visit my website at walkertexaslawyer.com. You'll be glad you did. Why would you call anyone else?
Can you dig it, sucker? Shup. Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. We rolling, man. We rolling. So, guys, just roll on with us here for this last segment. This time's going by quick. It's going by quick. What we got, Bradley? What we got?
This is from Vanish Edge Prasad, who says, I think that they should get fined, suspended, or fired. Very unprofessional. They've cost other women that were featured in that match not to be featured on television. Of course, he's referring to Sasha Banks and Naomi leaving, and Doudrop and Nikki ASH not being involved in the main event due to the plans changing.
Well, I agree. If that's the case, something should be done. Fined, suspended, fired. Something should be done. I just don't think it set a good example for the guys in the locker room. I just don't. I just do not think this is a way that the business motto should, lean towards. Well, if I don't like it, I'm just leave. If everybody thought that way, we wouldn't be having product here. So,
and before Dirt Sheet Writers run with that headline, Booker said, if that's the case. Because again, I can already see that's going to be the head. Booker T says Sasha Banks and Naomi need to be fired immediately.
I say if that's the case, something should happen. They should be suspended. They should be fined. Sometimes in situations like this, guys get fired. So if somebody want to run with that headline, which I'm sure they probably will run it with it like that, but that's their stupidity.
That's their and add just to, I guess, talk about it. I think that when CM Punk walked out, he actually did get fired.
Yeah, he did.
He got let go out of his contract. Yeah. Not his request either. So I mean, that is a real possibility. Now, do I think it's going to escalate to that?
When Steve Austin walked out, what happened?
They said, took his ball, go home. They said, all right, hit the bricks, sucker.
I mean, so I'm not saying anything that's not true. I mean, if something like that happens, something needs to be done about it, because we can't. I just don't think we can start looking at wrestling like that to where, well, if it's not working out for me, let me just get up and leave in the middle of the show. Now, like I say, if it was something, if I had a problem with something, I'm going to figure out how to get it done. If I'm losing, I want to figure, okay, let's figure out how I'm losing, and let's get this loss out of the way, so I could, if I am going to leave, I got a reason. I'm pissed off about this, and you know it. All right, so I'm gonna give you your ball, and I'm gonna get the hell out of here. But I'm gonna be real professional about it. As far as that goes, I'm not gonna have a lot of people talking about it, about what's going on the show and why this had to happen. I'd rather suffer the consequences, keep my my integrity intact, and my professionalism there again, first and foremost at a certain level, and get this done and walk, because there again, people are looking at it and people are talking about it. That's why we're talking about it.
Yeah, and we have Michael Polston, who says part of the problem with wrestling is that the market is increasing while demand is going down. I don't actually know if that's true either. I don't think demand for wrestling is going down. I think it's at an all-time high. That's why it's on 5 nights a week.
You know what? You know what? I think he might be right
I don't think so.
in that aspect as far as demand is going down, because I think demand is going up for wrestling. I mean, good wrestling, but it's so much crap out there right now. People can start looking at wrestling like it's a freaking corny act. Like I mean, CM Punk even made that reference, to Eric Bischoff, corny. You know what I mean? That when wrestling start being looked at as corny again, that's when people are gonna, tune out and tune away from it. I think WWE right now is trying to present a product where people can look at it there again and follow along the stories and have some fun. But like I say, when we start doing wrestling to where there again, it's like a corny act. I'm not going to throw any names out there or anything like that. That's when we're going to start losing viewers.
Yeah.
Wrestling was cool in the 90s because you could drink a beer with it, you could hang out with your buddies and watch it, and you could even you and your girl could watch it. You know what I mean? Because the girls was going to be seeing some stuff on there that they could actually relate to actually. So I think when it just become wrestling, and it becomes all about wrestling, yeah, it can become corny.
Justin Corntinas, excuse me. I'm thinking about carnitas. I'm hungry. Hey Booker, I was scrolling through Peacock and started to binge watching WWE Confidential series and saw you owned a clothing store. How long did you have that store and why did you close it? Is this Jam Zone?
Yeah, Jam Zone, man.
I didn't know Jam Zone was on Confidential.
Yeah. Jam Zone was a little spot where you can get your music. We had some, gear that we used to, ship in from New York, and it was pretty cool. But I got broke in 3 times, and that's when I shut it down. First time they just broke the window and came in and stole some stuff. So I put burglar bars up. Then the second time they broke the window and stole the suit off the mannequin, and I was like, damn it, let me hook up again. So I got all kind of stuff, burglar bars. I got the magnet so that move the stuff back so they couldn't get in. The third time they broke in the store, 2 doors down, came through his wall, went through the next wall, came into my store, stole everything out of it, got up out of it. I say, damn it, that's it. These fools, they could get a job as hard as they were working. I'm serious. I mean, I'm like, I would have hired them, to do some work, because they was persistent. And they must have been off of that Burberry big time back then because, yeah.
Burberry used to be hot. Burberry used to be hot.
After about 3 years, man, then I had to shut it down.
Otis Linkman says WWE needs to find a way to get Booker T to guide, mentor NXT's Trick Williams and Carmelo Hayes. Also, can Booker please bring back the red Harlem Heat shirt so fans can buy them again?
Man, I would love to work with those guys, man. I'm big fans of those guys, and the thing is, I wouldn't change a thing about their wrestling or anything. I can't change anything about most wrestlers wrestling. I can change your mentality, the way you think when you go out there, when you perform, because it's as real as you make it in certain aspects. And the art of making a fan feel a certain way is truly an art. It's not something that most people are born with. Just say, for instance, to actually cry on a dime. It's really hard to do that. But I find myself being in certain situations and I can really go there at a moment's notice and to make you feel a certain way. So yeah, man, I would love to work with those guys.
We have another one, and we only have a few minutes left, so we're going to try to get through these as quickly as possible. Aaron C says, Booker, how difficult was it, if at all, to perform in a 4-sided ring as opposed to being in a 6-sided ring?
You know what? When a 4-sided ring is great. When I worked in TNA, the 6-sided ring, honestly, it didn't bother me a whole lot because I knew I wasn't going to be doing much in it. That's why when they changed it to the 4-sided ring for Hogan and those guys, I go, what the hell are they thinking? I say, this is a freaking young man thing. And I'm like, this is a young man's game. This is a new thing. The fans really may like this thing, especially around the world. An octagon ring is pretty cool. And And so they said, let's take it away. We don't like it like that. You know, it's old school. Let's get a 4-sided ring. And I'm like, that is the stupidest thing you could think of. But for me, I knew I was an old guy in TNA, but I knew I wasn't going to be doing much. So I was like, man, I don't care. I liked it for the nostalgia for TNA. I always say when TNA lost the 6-sided ring, they lost their identity.
Glenn says, do you have any stories of Andrew Tess Martin?
Oh man, Tess was cool dude, man. Tess was really, really cool dude, man. We were talking just last week about Sunny and her problems. Tess was he was a wild one too, man. That's why I say you got to literally follow certain paths in this business and literally keep blinders on and try to stay focused, because you can find yourself falling in those pitfalls. And God rest his soul, man. He was a good dude, man. But addiction was one of the things that he was dealing with for a very long time.
I always loved Test. Always loved Test. Michael Polston, I think, echoed something that we said a second ago. The Rock was booed shortly after coming into the business. He got over after turning heel. I was one of the few fans at the time. Yeah, we talked about that with the Die, Rocky Die, which is such an aggressive chant. Die, Rocky Die is pretty aggressive for nowadays.
Yeah.
And
do you think, I know we got to get to Super Chat, but do you think anybody could have created that Rock, enigma other than him?
No, he's a one of a kind. Like he is The Rock. The Rock is Dwayne Johnson. And congratulations to Dwayne Johnson, the XFL. They just signed a big streaming deal with Disney Plus and ESPN. So shout out to them.
Saw that.
Aaron C said, in my opinion, it's hard to have great ratings anymore when you have Roman Reigns being the main attraction on every show. WWE needs more stars. More stars never hurt nobody, Book, right? I mean,
you know what? I think I disagree with that. I think it's hard to have great ratings because of social media.
I agree with that.
And everybody knowing what the story is going to be. I think that's why.
That hurts. Roland Curtis says, does McMahon need Sasha and Naomi? Everybody's expendable. Shane, Stephanie, even Roman. McMahon needed Austin and Rock and Attitude Era and Hogan in the 80s. McMahon already beat WCW. He's untouchable. I think you always need talent and stars.
Yeah, I think you always need talent, but, like the guy told me back in the day, man, one monkey don't stop no show. Show going to keep going. It's going to get bigger and bigger. Out of sight is out of mind. Mm-hmm. Just say, for instance, if Sasha Banks went away for a year, a lot of people are going to, they may still like her, they may still want her to come back, but don't think they're going to stop watching because she's gone. So that's just the way I look at that.
And then our final one is from Shadrach, the Project TV, who says Cena is the GOAT and you know it, and purple or red.
Nah, Cena is a GOAT, man. He's one of the greatest of all time, but there again, Cena didn't do a whole lot of moves. He wasn't a guy that was, doing backflips or anything like that. Cena was a guy that made you feel a certain way about him. You loved him or you hated him. One of the two, but he knew exactly why he was out there. And I'm watching this kid, or Austin Theory, and I'm hoping that he followed those same lines, you know what I mean, have that same instinct. And to this point, it seemed like he does. So hey man, that's what I'm all about, man. Hopefully these guys will figure this thing out, like I did. Figure it out. We got to get out of here, man. We do, man. But I want to thank everybody in the chat for sticking around. Champagne wishes, caviar dreams, all that. Brad, always, man, appreciate you for being the man behind all the madness. But right now, guys, we got to get out of here again. Peace. Later.
Sucker!